Hello, Facebookers. It's rather late, but I wanted to do a little video. It's very dark. Sorry. I wanted to do a little video on the cap of your happiness, right? Are you living a life where your happiness is capped, where you're not completely fulfilled and you don't really know yourself, right? I know I talk about this like finding yourself a lot. Hello, Judith. Thanks for joining. Hi, Francesca. Hello, love. So yeah, I was thinking actually this morning about this and a few other things. I'll be doing some more live streams, little things that were popping into my head. Say hi if you're here. Introduce yourself if you don't know me. If you haven't watched any of my stuff before, just type new. Hi, Adrian. Thanks for joining. So I'll introduce myself first. I'm Gail and I work as a soul coach. And the lovely Francesca, thank you for sending hearts and flowers, worked with me, along with quite a number of others. And basically I really work with inner child and I help you to strip back the conditioning that you've been living with that's holding you back from your truest self, that is stopping you cultivating a deeper connection with yourself and with other people, right? So within relationships, within your family, within your friendships, and within your workplace. And I really want to help people to understand that you've learned to be limited. You've learned to be limited. Hi, Shane. Thanks for joining. So you've learned to be limited, right? I believe that life is a world full of possibilities and it's full of potential and it's there really just for the grasping, you know? It's like, if we believe we could touch the stars, we probably could, you know, that kind of thing. I believe in that. I believe that the life can be, sure, it can be painful. I'll maybe do a whole other live stream on pain to power, but it's also magical. It also has this element of, you know, manifestation and synchronicities and soul connection and like amazing things that the mind just does not understand. Intuition, right, is another one that the mind cannot understand. The mind just simply doesn't understand how that works. It's like science. When science tries to work out quantum physics and isn't quite there yet, it can't quite get it, okay? And we, as these beings on the planet, hello Edwina, we learn to be a bit like a scientist. We are trained very much so in a way that tells us who we are, who we're supposed to be, how we're supposed to fit into the world, what qualities are allowed and what aren't. Some of that's a good thing, you know, but a lot of it is a really negative, bad thing. Hi Damien, it's been ages. Hello Steve. So we're trained, and we're trained not just by school and not just by society, although that has a huge, huge impact, but we're trained by our family circumstance. And so hi Monique, the thing that I want to really get to is that you're trained from really the word go. You're trained from, you know, a little child as to who you should be, what you should become, what you should aim for, and what is possible for you in your life. And I'm here to say to you that anything is possible for you, okay? Or, you know, if you can't reach to anything is possible, there's a lot more that's possible for you and waiting for you that is beyond the limit of your family's cap, their ceiling that they had on their happiness. Now, most of us are following a pattern where we kind of follow the pattern of the family, right? So say your dad was really hardworking and he believed that he had to work, you know, 24 hours a day in order to make enough money to take care of the family. You might have taken on some of those traits where you work really, really hard and you work really long hours. And it might not come from exactly the same place, but there's still a hugely similar flavor where you do the same thing that your father did. And so you're actually just regurgitating a pattern. You're actually just taking on the ego imprint of your father. And now you are just doing the same thing. You're not even running your life and being a co-creator, right? You're not running your life as yourself. You're actually running it as your father, who probably was running his life based on an ego imprint of his father or his mother, and so on and so forth. So lots of generations down the line are sending this imprint that's based in ego down to their grandchildren, their great-grandchildren, and everyone's just repeating the same. Francesca says, yes, anything's possible for me. Exactly. Hi, Rome. Hello. How you doing? So, yeah, so we're all kind of doing that. And the reason I really wanted to talk about this ceiling, this cap on your happiness, is you learn that your happiness level is basically the same as your family's, right? You're conditioned to that, is what I mean, right? You don't have to go and do an exam to find that out. You can see that by how your life generally goes. For most people, there are a limited few who break the mold, right? There's usually one or maybe two people who break the mold from their family. But generally, if you look at your family, everyone else is capped. They have that ceiling point, right? There was a study done a long time ago now on fleas, where they put fleas in a jar, and the fleas, started to only be able to jump to the top of the jar. No, they could jump much, much further than that, but they could only jump to the top of the jar because they were trapped by some horrible human beings. And what happened was, when the fleas procreated and they had babies, the babies then, even when the babies were not in the jar, could only jump as high as the parents could. When the parents were stuck in the jar, they had lost the ability to jump as high as they actually would naturally be able to, right? So we are living life exactly the same. We are not leaping to the levels of potential that we have. We're not grasping for that. We're not running towards it. We're not even, we're frightened of it actually now. We're so conditioned. We're so conditioned to be scared to leap that high. We're not even looking at it. We don't want to. It's too scary. But I'm telling you this, if you cap your happiness, because it's been normalized within your family, there will be a part of you that will feel forever like something is missing. That something is missing. And then you will make up that it is a relationship that's missing in your life, that the fact that you don't have children is missing in your life, that you haven't got a good career, you haven't got enough money, you aren't living in the right place. You'll make all these things up. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have desire for that, because that's part of the happiness cap, right? I'm not saying you shouldn't have desire for that, but what I'm saying is, when you are already capped by your conditioning, then you'll make up reasons for the things that are missing. And then come the excuses around why it's not happening. Because the fear's in place, because part of your conditioning doesn't believe that you can make that stuff happen. Is this making sense to you guys? Let me know. Monique says, it's like I've broken only half of the patterns or so. Well, honey, you had a lot of patterns. You've got lots going on. So if you're only breaking half of them now, then you're doing amazing, Let's not put expectation on how many of the shitty bits of our family's past we can clear. There's a lot of catalysts on the planet at the moment who are clearing their family stuff. Let's just give you props for clearing what you are clearing, give you a pat on the back instead of looking at it with negativity or something. Rome, busy, miss you. Living well, my friend. I see you're busy. I'm sorry, I haven't caught some of your stuff that you've been posting, because I was also really busy in London the last couple of weeks. But I will check in with you. Monique says, got to go. I'm moving. My family is rotten. Oh, honey. I understand. Hello, Jim. Hi, Andy. Thanks for joining. Francesca says, totally makes sense. Yeah, so back to the topic. So basically, I don't want you to live with a cap on your happiness. I don't want you to live thinking that there's something missing in your world, like you don't have that man or woman in your life, or you failed at your business and now there's nothing there, or, you're a disaster because you can't lose weight, And maybe, hi Jim, and maybe you're like carrying the weight that your mother carried and your aunts carried, and you're carrying the emotions that they carried, right? Everybody on the planet is doing some kind of up leveling within family, right? I use this this like point quite a lot when I talk about this. If you look at, you know, a few generations ago, not that far ago, in the UK anyway, it was perfectly okay to hit your kids. It was okay to slap them on the arse in the street, right? And to make a show of them. It was perfectly okay for teachers at school to hit you with a ruler or a cane, and to do it in front of people, to do it publicly, and to shame you. You know, fast forward a little bit, that's not okay anymore. In fact, today, that's abuse, right? Now, some of you might say, oh, we've gone too far and we've been too lenient, but let's not get into that, you know? It's like talking about politics. So let's look at just the fact that that's shifted, that's changed. So on, you know, someone somewhere, one person, or maybe a few people at the same time, who knows, channeled collectively, that isn't okay anymore, you know? It's like the same with racism. So someone somewhere did something, and people start to collectively gather this information, and across the board, it starts to change. Now, it takes quite a long time. It takes quite a long time for it to happen, many years, but it's actually happening a lot faster than it would have done 1,000 years ago. So if we look at our families, the last generation, like my mom's generation or my grandparents' generation, there's actually been huge leaps in awareness of how that affects children in that short time, you know? In the last 50, 60 years, that's been happening, where we've started to really understand what's going on, you know? And much more in recent years, much, much, much more. So everyone is doing something. However, if you're a person who is really called, like you feel something inside of you calling you to your next level, to something else, to align with yourself, to connect with your soul, to reach for a better career, to reach for that conscious relationship, to better yourself, to understand yourself, to release your fear. If you are that person, then you're a bit more of a catalyst in your family. You're someone who has something inside that's saying, this life isn't enough. And I don't want to be kept by this learned behavior, okay? Say your family really struggled with money. You probably really struggle with money because you haven't been taught that actually money is a form of energy, and actually you could potentially have something inside of you that could generate it for yourself. Not just by going to a shop down the road and working there for the rest of your life. That actually you, inside of you, have something that you could share with the world, that you could help the world, perhaps, right? Maybe you're a person who grew up with a family that argued all the time. And so what's normalized for you is arguing. And so you're attracted to people who want to argue. Even if you don't want to argue, they still want to argue with you, right? So you've normalized that, or rather it's been normalized because of your family situation. You somewhere subconsciously view that as home. You view that as love, and that's not what love is. And so the soul-led part of you will constantly be crying at you to find yourself, to go create a job, right? Create an income, or to find a career that satisfies you on a much bigger level, or to create that conscious relationship that you desire, even though you didn't see it. But the conditioned part of you, the fear part of you, your ego, if it's in play, it will keep wanting to do the same thing because it's safer to keep you there. It's safer to keep you in that jar, you know, little flea in the world, and let you just jump to a certain limit. And that's why people, as soon as the cap to their happiness is taken off, so I see my eyeliner smudge because I'm tired. As soon as the cap to their happiness is taken off, they shit themselves. Sorry, I couldn't think of a better phrase, but they literally crap themselves. And now they're free. You know, it's like someone that's been trapped for 1,000,000 years in prison, and they're suddenly given freedom. This happens to a lot of, prisoners, that when they're given their freedom, they have no idea what to do with it. And the fact that they're in control of their life, the fact that they're free to create their world, absolutely terrifies them. And so most of them go back to jail. Most of them don't do it because they don't know how to reach for happiness, right? Fear gets in the way. But you are unlimited. You are unlimited. You have all the potential that you ever had from the point where you were born. You are completely unlimited. And if you want, I would love to help you escape from that limitation. This is what I do. My mission on the planet is to really help you to understand what your true self is calling you towards. Soul voice activation, healing the connection with your inner child, although I hate the word healing. I like the word trusting. Creating trust with yourself, because the only reason you're not doing these things in life is because you don't trust. You've learned not to trust in something more in life, so that something is calling you, that something can hold you, whether that's God or guides or the universe or whatever, right? Or just energy. You've learned that. And ultimately, you've learned to not trust yourself. Because usually there's a huge part of us, this ego conditioning that gets passed on the family lines, it's hugely unreliable. It's unreliable. We abandon ourselves over and over. We put ourselves in terrible situations. We don't step up when our soul calls us. We don't listen. We don't do it. But the thing is, your soul's going to keep calling you anyway. And I will be talking more about fear versus love, because I had a lot of information come through the other day around, the other week. I was writing. I do, not a lot, but I do some channeled writing. I need to do more of it. My soul is calling me to that. But this thing was coming through about fear and love being generated at the same point. And it's completely true, and I find it really interesting. It's really interesting to note it, to look at it, to understand it. So I'll be talking more about that. But, you guys let me know, and those of you on the replay, let me know what you learned as a child about your world. And can you see where you've kept yourself to the same level of your family, usually your parents, but maybe even older siblings or whatever? Have you kept yourself somewhere? Is your limitation with money? Is your limitation with your relationships? Is your limitation simply with yourself and the amount of joy that you are allowing yourself to feel? Because as soon as you, say in a relationship, for example, say you crave connection and intimacy in a conscious relationship, if you have a ceiling on what you believe is achievable, you either won't meet a person who can meet you there, or when you do meet that person, you will probably crap yourself, because now you're there. Like, now it's happening. Or you might be a person, and you maybe have to make decisions around it, like to choose it kind of thing. But maybe you're a person who, say for example, you really know you make an excellent leader. You'd be great in your workplace as a leader. But because you've been capped by this conditioning, you never step up, you never speak. And then when you're offered a promotion for all the good work you've done, you panic about it and think you can't do it, and you maybe even turn it down. Or maybe you take it and then you mess it up because you don't really believe that you deserve it, right? Francesca says, yes, in Italy too, I was hit in my family. Yeah, like, I actually think you guys were a little bit behind us, because I heard from Tom that he still got hit at school, which I was quite shocked about. Yeah, we didn't get that. I didn't get that at school, but my mom did. I think my mom and my dad definitely did, because my dad's a little bit older, so he definitely got hit at school with the belt, but this is the thing, everywhere on the planet was changing at different rates, and we're still doing it. We're still up leveling as a collective, consciousness. But for some of us, we're called to up level a little bit quicker. Okay, I lied, a lot quicker. It's not a little bit quicker. We are called to up level. at what can seem like an alarming rate for some people. But that, I believe, is why I'm here. I'm the piece that helps you to up level more quickly. I hold your hand whilst you go through it. I'll be there when your conditioning is freaking you out and you are scared. I'll be there when your inner child won't connect with you and is terrified. I'll be there with you when you don't know what to do about your shitty relationships, right? That's my thing. So, yeah, we are asked to up level now. Heart-led warriors unite. Let's make it happen. So if you, let me know. Like, share with me. Anyone here now and anyone on the replay, just share with me any of the caps of happiness that you think are happening in your life. And if you would like a free soul session with me, a 30-minute soul session, please get in touch and let's talk about it. I can help you to release some of this, you know? And I will be running my Align course as well. That's starting soon, where we are doing 12 weeks where we clear the family karma. We clear all of this crappy conditioning that's holding you back. We reconnect you to your soul voice and your body wisdom. And I posted an interview today that I just did with Leah, who I worked with. She didn't join Align. She worked with me just before I released that course. But we basically went through the same things. And we talked a lot about relationships, manifestation of conscious relationships, and also really releasing the blocks to her blossoming acting career. So please watch it. It's really good. It's quite long, but watch it. Hello, Katrina. Hi, Margaret. How are you? Hello, Billy. Hello. My mom did get the belt at school. She's 65 now. Yeah, I'm sure my mom did as well. She's 61. I can't even remember. But my dad definitely did. He's 70. He definitely got the belt. So this is the thing. We're up leveling. For collective consciousness, it's all changing slowly. But there are some of us who are just not willing to stop and wait and just live lives that are not fulfilling. And so if you're one of those people, get in touch with me. Okay? And if you know anyone who would like this information, who you think could deal with it, if you think could deal with it, then please share. Share away. All right, loves, I'm going to go because I'm quite tired, but I'll be back to talk about love and fear very soon. All right? I will love you and leave you. Mwah. Bye for now.